Mandem and Tings there. It's the O Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app, or my favorite podcasting app, which is Spotify. We have links on the site. Make sure to head to owrestling.com, ohwrestling.com for everything O Wrestling. Today, we're talking about Fastlane and factions in WWE. We are in the era of the faction. Everyone needs backup. Everyone's getting backup, and they're preparing for what I assume is the biggest Survivor Series War Games of all times. Everyone is pairing up. Everyone needs a buddy. Everyone's got a friend. This is, what is it? I'm recording this on the day, actually. I'm recording this on the day. It is October 3rd, 2023. And coming right off of Raw, where Johnny Gargano returned to help his buddy Tommaso Ciampa to fight back the wave of kicks and punches from Imperium after Ciampa was submitted by Gunther in their IC title match. DIY is back, y'all. The team is back, and I was happy. I never got to watch them in NXT, so it's going to be fun to watch them here. I've heard nothing but great things, and there's one thing that I know Johnny Gargano needed was someone bigger who could not necessarily carry him, because Johnny Gargano is an incredible professional wrestler, but he is small, and he doesn't have the Chad Gable, cachet. So he needs someone to kind of bounce off of, not literally, but he just needs like a partner who feels like they can be competitive together. That's all I'm thinking. I also think he's been gone for a while because they kind of needed people to forget his last run in WWE. What was it, almost 6 to 8 months ago, with him and Dexter Lumis and his wife and Indy, when they were starting to get I think they were called the family together, whatever. But he was a real smarmy, smug face, and it wasn't really going over well with the crowd. So now, hopefully, him and Ciampa can have that best friend rapport and get them both over even more. Anyway, the reason why I was thinking about this is because after the match in USA went off the air, I started thinking about the Fastlane card, and it seems like there's quite a bit of tag team action at Fastlane. There's Cody and Jay versus Judgment Day for the titles. There's LA Knight and John Cena versus the Bloodline for no reason. I don't remember any more matches, but I know there's 2 tag team matches, and 2 tag matches on a card is a lot. It's just a lot for WWE. They don't particularly like tag teams. They also moved the IC championship match between Gunther and Ciampa from Fastlane, allegedly, from Fastlane to Raw to make room for more tag matches, maybe? I don't know. I'm just assuming. But then it had me look at the landscape of WWE, and it has become very cliquey. And that is all thanks to Triple H, right? Triple H is a big proponent of faction warfare in wrestling. All of Triple H's glory was when he was part of a faction, whether it be DX or Evolution or The Authority or Two-Man Power Trip, or you could keep saying or. He was always part of some large famous faction, usually with a person who was more over than him. So in DX, it was Shawn Michaels, who was, the star, and then Triple H slowly rose over him. And then in Evolution, the whole point of their storyline was that Triple H was jealous of Randy Orton after he won the title and took it from him. There's the two-man power trip where the egos couldn't coexist together, and he was trying to get over on Stone Cold. Look, we can keep talking about it, but Triple H's fame and his legacy is in factions. So it only makes sense that he tells stories using factions, right? So now everyone is paired up. Like I said, DIY is back. Bobby Lashley has recruited the Street Profits so that they can run roughshod over the LWO, which cropped up randomly. Austin Theory, who was a solo act for a very long time, is now paired up with Grayson Waller. And they're, buds. They have the Brawling Brutes. They have the Judgment Day, obviously. They still have the Bloodline. And I don't know. I had a whole episode on not understanding what Jimmy's storyline was. I think the reason he's back in the Bloodline is because Roman is not around. He's just not around. And Solo needed someone, right? The whole point of the Bloodline was there was power in numbers. And the story that they seemed to be telling that was that was going to disintegrate and they were going to all go their separate ways. But now it seems like they need the Bloodline around for a little longer to get through what I assume is Survivor Series. So maybe they had to switch Jay back to, tagging with his little brother before they can truly split that whole thing up. But really take a look at the WWE landscape. Everyone's paired up. And like I said earlier, all I can assume is that Survivor Series is going to be so many 6-man tags, so many just all-out brawls. And if they do War Games, I'm not exactly sure who's going to be in that. I think the rumor is that it's going to be Cody, main event Jay, Sammy, and KO versus the Judgment Day, who are they need one more. The Judgment Day, Damian, Dom, Finn, and JD. So they'll have the 4v4 War Games match. I don't know. Maybe they'll get a fifth. I'm not sure. But that seems to be where they're headed. But if maybe they'll throw in a cage match with a bunch of people, or have a tornado tag, or someone might do some sort of TLC match. I don't know, man. But the landscape of WWE has definitely changed into just like all out gangs walking around, whooping everyone's tail. The only thing that I haven't seen happen are the women pairing up. Well, that's not even true, because this past Raw, Tegan Nox took on Chelsea Green in a fairly quick squash match with Tegan going over, because I guess they're going to put her in a program with Becky Lynch and she has to stay strong. But Chelsea Green had Piper Niven, and then Natalya came out to support Tegan Nox. So even there in the women's division, there's some pairing up going on. Not much, but some. They're all still fairly disparate, right? But I'd love to see a lady faction walking around. I mean, there's also Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, who've been out for 2 weeks after Nia Jax smushed them. I don't know. But I do need to see some women factions cropping up. Maybe when Jade Cargill debuts, she will create the baddies, and we'll get some squads up that way. Oh, and Asuka came out to help Charlotte Flair during Smack. Look, yes, everyone is paired up, factions everywhere. Let me know in the comments if you like all these WWE factions, and what faction do you want to see crop up on the main roster. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the O Wrestling Podcast, and don't you ever forget,
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.